Hi everybody, it's Matt Stevens here for another Skoda We Love Cycling podcast, and my guest today is none other than the Swiss mountain bike legend Thomas Frischknecht. He doesn't really need too much of an introduction, but what I will tell you is that he's a lovely gent. He's been a multiple world champion at both cyclocross and mountain biking. He's a silver medalist at the Olympic Games in mountain biking as well. He's the current team manager and has been the manager there for over 20 years of the SCOTT-SRAM mountain bike racing team. And in this podcast, he talks about the current state of mountain biking right now, why mountain biking is so special to him, and he takes us on a mountain biking trip down memory lane. Enjoy. Thomas, thank you very much for joining us on the podcast. Can you just tell us where you are in the world? It looks beautiful.
Well, right now I'm in Switzerland at home. As you can see in my background, that's Lake Zurich. So I live pretty close to Zurich. And I came outside here because I have the house full of athletes at the moment. It's kind of a zoo. They're all leaving tomorrow to fly to the next World Cup race in Lake Placid, and they're packing and running around, and it's a bit hectic in there right now.
Fantastic. I mean, you're a rider that really, or an athlete, I know you've retired now, but doesn't really need too much of an introduction, so I won't do that. We know how decorated you've been over the years, how respected you are. But could you talk to us a little bit about what you are doing now, what you've been doing for the last few years, and also why you've got your house full of athletes?
Well, I'd say I have kind of two careers in mountain bike racing, or actually in cycling. I started out as a cyclocross racer at the beginning and had like 2 World Championship titles there, and then I was the first European athlete to move to the US to try a new discipline that was called mountain biking. Back in the days, that was 1990. And I was just kind of like at the beginning of when the sport started to hit also the European scene, and had quite a career there that lasted until 2008. But to be honest, my second career I started, I'm almost more proud of, because I run now since 23 years the SCOTT-SRAM mountain bike racing team, and some of you might know the GOAT, Nino Schurter, who's been my man for the past 23 years. He just retired last weekend. So yeah, being a team director, team manager of that team, and with everything that came with all the success we had over the years, I'm quite proud about that second career, actually.
What do you most enjoy about the second phase of your career? I was just looking through your Instagram just a few hours ago, and I saw the moment you were ringing the bell on the latest UCI, the World Cup round, and Nino was just passing through. That must have been quite a significant moment for you, especially seeing how he's one of the greatest champions ever of the sport, if not the greatest champion. But what do you enjoy the most about running the team and seeing these riders come through under your guidance?
Well, see, I think mountain bike racing is kind of my destiny in my life, and I was able to play many different functions in this sport, quite significant, as a racer, as a director of a strong team, and I'm also doing some TV commentating for Swiss television. So I'm commentating World Championships and Olympic Games for TV. So there's like different roles I'm playing in the sport that I just love, and being around that sport, that's what keeps me going. And yeah, that racing's still in my blood, and that's why I still enjoy it after all the years. And it's not in particular seeing my athletes out there. I'm kind of in the middle of this sport, knowing everybody in this sport, because I've been there for so long, and I also enjoy seeing others winning. It's a cool scene. It's a really great scene. This sport is beautiful because of it, the people participating in, athletes and others that are part of, and yeah, it seems like that's my life.
And you say you've been managing the team in its various iterations for the last 23 years. I mean, and the sport has changed, all the sport. I mean, I focus primarily on road cycling, and that sport has changed so much. But from a technical perspective, mountain biking has changed, ridiculously. And it's very interesting to watch. But what do you think the biggest change has been in the 30, 35, 40 years that you've been involved in the sport? The most significant, maybe singular thing that has really changed the sport itself?
Well, it's kind of obvious how the sport changed in terms of equipment,
Yeah.
There you can see from small wheels, 26-inch, to now 29, and most likely even bigger ones in the future, and then from hardtail to full suspension, from basically simple some simple designs to high tech as we see today with flight attendant, all electronic suspension setup and stuff. So on the equipment side, it's obvious, you can see the changes. But I would say as far as the requirements of being a professional mountain bike athlete these days are much higher than when I started, or even 10 years ago. We've seen now this year 8 World Cup races and 7 different winners, and in the past it was like Nino Schurter doing 8 World Cup races, winning 8 World Cup races. And
Yeah.
I think it's just like the competition got so much bigger, everything got so much closer. It's easy to not be in the top 10 in a World Cup race if you are 30 seconds down, So everything got a lot tighter, and it's got really tough to actually be on the podium in this sport. Yeah.
Right. And in terms of what we've seen on the road side of it, they've got some big road champions dipping their toe in the water, maybe more than that. Mathieu van der Poel, Tom Pidcock, for example. Are you seeing an appetite amongst younger riders to try and diversify a little bit more, or are these athletes that are exceptionally versatile quite a rare breed? And do you see youngsters coming through asking you, should I try the road a little bit? Should I do a bit of cross? How do you keep them focused when the most natural thing as a young cyclist, if you're good or if you're not, or if you just enjoy it, is to try all the different aspects? How do you manage those appetites with the youngsters now?
Well, it's a very good question, because indeed all the young riders that I talk to, that contract talks and stuff, it's always part of the discussion or part of a contract. Do I also have the freedom to race on the road? That's a very, very common thing right now, and to be honest, they all try to be like Pidcock and Van der Poel, obviously, but if you see whoever tried it, even like Viktor Koretsky tried the road, and those years he tried to do both, he kind of lost. He wasn't any good on the road and in the mountain bike, and now he's back in mountain biking, focusing in mountain biking, and that's why it works. Even Alan Hatherley, kind of like jumping back and forth. He came back successfully, now winning the world champion title again, but still, not everyone is a Tom Pidcock or a Mathieu van der Poel, and even these two guys, they are struggling.
Yeah.
Tom, those years when he was focusing more in mountain biking, I think he did not have the same results anymore on the road, and the other way around. And same for Mathieu. It's like even these super talents can't do both at the very highest level. They have to focus on one thing and do that one thing right.
It is really interesting, isn't it? I mean, that striking that sort of balance, and that there are some riders that can do it, but it's there's a cost, isn't there? that there's a cost to trying to diversify. It's a nice ambition, but being too diverse by its very nature means perhaps you just dilute rather than stay focused.
Absolutely, and I mean, road racing is just so different to mountain biking. Mountain biking now is a super hard effort for 90 minutes, where you have to be explosive and more like you have to be kind of a criterium rider in a way, super explosive with a lot of sprints and I just think what they usually also try to do is like competing at the world's highest level. I mean, if you could just jump in a second division road team and use that as a training, then that's another thing, then it's a good build up, that's for sure. I agree to that part, but if you try to be in a pro tour team and race mountain bike, the right mountain bike World Cup, this, I think it's kind of an impossible thing. To me, Mathieu van der Poel, greatest cyclist in the world. Point. That's my quote, because there is no one like him that's races on such a high level: road, mountain bike, gravel, and cyclocross. But even Mathieu is struggling when he switches back and forth, doing one and the other thing. So. It's kind of a dream. You can do both, but I don't think it works out at the end.
Yeah, it is a fascinating one. It's certainly entertaining, but from a spectator's point of view. But can you talk to me about the younger riders coming through now? And people come to you, and obviously you've got all of this knowledge. But what would your advice be to somebody who's just considering mountain biking? To try and sell it to them, how would you do that? Because it's for me, it's an easy one. I remember riding a mountain bike years and years ago, and it was just purely for fun. But I can still categorically say, although my career has been on the road and my career now is all road focused, that the most fun I've had has been on a mountain bike. It's just a complete mental refresh, and although you're working out really hard, more like a full body workout than just the legs. Sometimes you don't think about the pain because it's just so much fun riding in nature. But how do you sell the sport to youngsters coming through? Or if you had to change your role and sell mountain biking, what would you do?
I don't know. I don't feel like I have to sell mountain biking because the young generation is coming by itself. But one thing I can say is my advice: you actually have to slow down all the young kids that want to become a mountain bike professional. They all dream of a career like Nino Schurters or others. And what I see there is they are getting too focused too early. Maybe on the road that's a bit different, but in mountain biking you have sport is a game, and the game you have to play, and you have to have fun, and you have to keep the fun as long as possible. Just play around with the bike and play around, work on your technical skills, and then when it's time, kind of gear up with the physical work and training to get stronger and faster. But what I see, most of the young talents are already burned out before they even get to the elite category, because they want it so early, so strong.
It's a fascinating one, isn't it? I mean, the amount of, just going back onto the road to use a comparison, there's so many riders now winning at junior level that now have contracts with under 23 teams and then world tour teams, and they know what they're going to be paid in 3 or 4 years' time, and it's big money. I know a lot of the agents and I know a lot of the teams, and this is scary amounts of money for riders or people that are still so very, very young. And I think there is a massive risk of burnout, and clearly you've seen it happen. It's so important that we manage this young talent, but I also understand commercially why teams, agents are looking earlier and earlier into the development of riders. But I don't see many of these riders, and I'd love to be proved wrong. I can't see them having the same length careers that you had because of the weight of expectancy and also the sheer level you need to be at consistently. It's a great time to be a spectator or a coach maybe, but as a young rider, the intensity is crazy, isn't it, if you have ambition?
Absolutely, I'm 100% with you on that one. It's kind of sad to see how also the road teams, they have the big pockets, with the money.
Yeah.
And we won't see any rising mountain bike talents without being in contact with those road teams. So they have their spies out there, and they're coming to see what's happening in mountain biking. That was not the case like 10-20 years ago, obviously.
Sure.
But now, if there is the next super talent like Tom Pidcock coming up, that person will be seen way before a mountain bike team can start develop a new talent. The probably some road team will come and offer also a good deal, and then maybe, sadly, a lot of the young talented mountain bikers switch to the road before they even have a career in mountain biking.
And how do you address that problem, or is it's something that the sport is looking good. Some of the crowds some of the races this year, and the fact that we've got World Cup races down in South America, up in Canada, that there's a bigger calendar. How do you see that as an attractive proposition to actually try and persuade the youngsters to focus on mountain biking? Because you've got a big job to combat that, haven't you?
Yeah, but that's kind of something that's not really in my hands, and
Sure.
I can only work on problems that I know I have a chance on changing it, and seems like that's the evolvement of the sport. When money comes in, it changes the sport. That's obvious. Sure. And we've also seen it, with the organizers. Now we've been for many years. It was the UCI World Cup and broadcasted by Red Bull. Now a big American broadcaster, Discovery, comes in and pays a lot of money to showcase our sport, which is great because they do a good job selling our sport or presenting our sport. But also there they had to pay a lot of money to the UCI, and they need to make money out of the teams now and out of the promoters. So the sport became more popular. Because it became more popular, there's more money involved these days, and money is always kind of the of any fun in a sport.
Well, just to flip it round, I know that's quite a serious statement, but I do agree in many ways. But can you just take us back in time a little bit? I want to end this on a high, and just, can you remember, and I'm sure you can, the first time you actually got on a mountain bike? Because they were very new. I mean, we were like, when you say 1990, you're 19, 20 years of age approximately, and then you see this new looking bike. I mean, can you remember your first go on it after riding the cross and the road? Can you remember where that was?
Yes, I can remember quite well, because I already came out of the off-road cycling scene, participating in cyclocross races, and I remember building bikes with larger tires just so we could go off-road. They were not actually cyclocross bikes, but also kind of like woodsy bikes to go out in the woods and play around with. And then when the mountain bike, when the mountain bike came up, I knew that was like love in the first time I saw such a bike. I knew that is so cool. I need one of those, and I bought one in '87, but for the purpose of just exploring. Actually, my first with my friends, a group of 4 guys. We went to the Swiss Jura bike packing, with the bike rack and the sleeping bag on the back, and these mountain bikes, and we felt like we were cowboys in the wild, wild west, you know, doing something that nobody else in Switzerland is doing. So that was pure freedom, exploring on a new vehicle. We felt like real stars.
That's one of my first memories of mountain biking as well. I think it was 1988 or 1989, and a couple of my friends had got these new bikes, and I was like, well, that's not a cyclocross bike, it's not a road bike. Anyway, they said, you got to get one, and I'm like, okay. So I saved up some money. I think it was £199, whatever it was, and I bought this mountain bike, and I did the same. I put a rack on it, sleeping bag, and we went out into the Peak District National Park, where the Three Peaks is, around that area, and we camped, and we just had this adventure. Yeah. And we just camped.
It's kind of like Iron Horses, you know.
Yeah,
felt like cowboys out there.
It's just the joy of it, like you say, exploring, having fun with your friends, and keeping fit without really knowing it. You know, you got this brilliant workout. I trained a lot of winters before I went to live in France, mountain biking all the time. It's a sport that I really do love. I need to do more of it, actually. But I think that's. And now, how much time? Just to wrap things up, Thomas, how much time do you get to ride yourself now? Because clearly you look really fit. You're obviously still keeping yourself in shape. Do you make sure that you ride every day, or are you quite laissez-faire about it? How do you fit riding in around how busy you are now?
Well, that's why our appointment today was a bit later, because I had to squeeze in a ride. No, for me, it's only a good day if I get to ride. I try to ride almost every day. Obviously, that's not possible all the time because of the traveling and so on. But no, I still, it's my passion, and I still enjoy riding a bike. And I call myself a cyclist because I kind of almost walked away a little bit from mountain biking. Now I'm back where I started with gravel, started with cyclocross, but there's not that much of a difference. In fact, this weekend I'm doing the Eroica in Gaiole in Chianti, the big one, and to make it a proper challenge, it's going to be on a bike from 1909. It's the first year they built a free hub. So, with a proper old bike, 210 kilometers. That's going to be a great challenge.
I hope, you've got to be in good shape. Can you take the wheel out and change the sprockets, or is it just one gear?
No, exactly. It's a so-called giraruota. Means you have a sprocket on each side, a smaller one, a bigger one, and to change the gear you have to take the rear wheel out, turn it around 180, and put it back in.
It's going to be a long day, but it looks like it's going to be a
long day. Starts at 5. Starts at 5 in the morning, and you finish in the dark. Yeah.
Oh, that's fantastic.
Yeah. But this year I'm well prepared, well trained. I did just recently also a ride from, they do say Milan-San Remo is a long race, right? You did it several times. And there is a town called Meilen, just down Lake Zurich, 10 k's away from my home. So if you take one letter out, then it's Meilen is then Milan-San Remo, but the one from Zurich. So and that is twice as long, 590 k's. And I started at 10 in the night, and was after 21 hours of riding, I was in San Remo, including the Cipressa.
Including the Cipressa, blimey, that's impressive. Well, you clearly, Thomas, still got that inspirational spirit about you. It's really nice to talk to you for the very first time. As I say, you were a proper hero of mine going through the 1990s, and long may that enthusiasm continue, because you're a shining light in the world of mountain biking and beyond, mate. Thank you very much for joining us on the podcast.
It was a pleasure being with you today.
Thank you.